Living single, a single. Ooh, what is the lights in the light of the world? I better. Yup. Welcome back. It's your man EddyEd.
Hey, and in the building today is D for dialogue. you know what's up with that. We have you ever noticed our names are D and E?
D.
Alphabetical order?
Yes.
That's funny.
Hey man, we are here for episode 17, man. Welcome back, guys, for returning, guests and members of the Holy Duo Squad. We're here with another podcast episode 17. As we customarily do, man, we start off with the HD moments. This is where we say what we saw that was holy or demonic, or something with us that's holy or demonic. HD moments. D, hit us off first, baby.
Man, I only have a demonic moment, but this demonic moment is demonic of all moments. You know what I saw this week at the grocery store? My wife and I. We saw a dog in a shopping cart. Let me just let that sink in for a moment. Yeah, a dog in a shopping cart. This lady put her dog in a shopping cart. That is disgusting. That is sick, man. People put their produce in the shopping carts. There's some people allergic to dogs. Where did your dog walk before you put it in the shopping cart?
What kind of dog was this?
It was a hairy, one of those dogs that sheds. It had like gray fur, and it was like a medium-sized dog.
Oh my! So it wasn't even like the small Chihuahua joints.
No.
Wowee.
No.
And she got it around the food and all that.
Yeah.
Oh man!
But after her, someone else is gonna use the cart, and we know that they don't.
Exactly. They don't be bro. Ever since COVID, bro, they did 2 weeks of desensitizing. Or
that's what I was gonna say,
bro. And now they don't do no more. Why aren't people keeping up sanitation like that, bro? Why gotta be something deadly out there for you to be? Oh no, we gotta clean this off.
They don't have the time to. You know what I'm saying? Like no one's working. Everyone's understaffed and stuff. So it's like, who's gonna disinfect this?
That's another thing too. Like it is I almost said disinfected. I mean this. I'm basically trying to say the freaking, I can't even talk. The staff is understaffed.
Yeah, they are. It is, for sure.
And in a lot of facilities, they are understaffed because inflation thing and all that. So everybody want to find a job that's higher, and it's nothing wrong with that. But but what we do see is the jobs that I guess are devalued are have understaffed numbers, and so it takes effect when you look at timing, like the bank, right? A demonic moment for me is like the bank. Oh yeah, did you finish your demonic moment?
Yeah, I'm good.
Hey yo, what the demonic moment for me is like the bank, man. I went to the bank. Like going to the bank now is kind of crazy because it's only like one person, and then it's 20 people trying to do a transaction.
Oh man, that's
bro.
horrible.
I go in there. I'm like, man, I'm in there for an hour just waiting in line, and there's one person, so you can't rush the one person. They got to make sure they do everything correctly for the person in front of them, so it could be handled the way it should be. So it's like it just takes so long, and they're understaffed, and they can't produce time efficient services because it's not enough people to do that. So in that way, that's affected people that do sanitation stuff for the carts. It's affect. You see all these different ways it can affect. Things that I guess we would appreciate, but isn't really looked at as much when it comes to looking at, we need staff for this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one demonic moment there. Another demonic moment, man. My car is acting funny. The brake is groggling again. I don't know.
Oh man.
Yeah, I gotta go check it out. I gotta get an oil change and blah blah blah.
Your car doesn't like you anymore, man. Because I was just editing or I was listening to one of our old podcasts, and in season 2, and you were also talking about your brakes breaking up on you. So
Yeah, I might.
dang, man.
I might cheat. I might cheat on my car in 23. I might cheat on her, and
Don't do it,
I
man.
might leave my car.
We might have a murder case on our hand. Your car's gonna show up to your apartment.
Hopefully not. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah, hopefully.
It's
But
gonna.
I am having a couple of issues with it, but it'll be resolved. And it's like I just don't like it. I just don't like getting my car repaired because I always feel like they're either playing me, right, or they're gonna do
Yeah.
something to where I'm gonna have to come back in. You know what I'm saying? I
Mm.
always feel like I always
Right.
feel like I'm getting set up. That's why when it comes to car repairs, it's really good if you know somebody, because then you can trust them to do the work and not try to screw you up, either by adding a different problem, or not fixing the problem all the way where you have to come back and get it redone. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Yeah.
that's the crazy part about this when it comes to getting your car fixed at facilities, because it's like, man, it's always like something else coming up, and if they do it right, are they doing it right, or are they doing it
Who
half?
knows, man?
You never really know, bro. I did an oil change, and I already got to do another oil change,
What?
bro. My car is telling me I need an oil change. Is the car wrong, or did they never put the oil in the first time? You know what I'm saying?
Something might be going on with your car sensor then.
It probably might be my car sensor as well. I do have sensory problems.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is,
Uh,
I gotta take my car inside. Oh yeah, before we hop straight
yeah.
into the episode, if you haven't already, and you're listening on the audio platform, we now have, we've been having 4K on YouTube. But hey, I just read something that Spotify is now doing video. Spotify, so we might be able to do video on Spotify, man.
Oh wow.
Yeah, see, I might be able to see us
Wow.
video on Spotify. So we're gonna look into that, guys, and we're gonna see what we can do about that. But for now, we have 4K crispy video and audio on YouTube and on all audio platforms where you can find us: Apple Podcasts, Google, all the good stuff. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that's that. So let's hop straight in, man. I am ready
Do
for
it.
this, man. We got 3 good big boys inside this thing. Um, shoot.
Dang.
I don't want, man. Let's go ahead and hit yours first, because yours is kind of like a sensitive one, and just in case, we will need to get to a lighter stage, So let's hit yours first, and then let's move on from there.
Okay. So my question today is it really worth it to have kids in a first world country?
Mm.
Is it worth it, first of all, to have kids? Second, to have a good amount of children? Nowadays, you have a lot of people talking about, oh, I just want one kid, which we know from a psychological point of view, that's horrible. You don't want to do that to your child. You don't want to have one child, because that's not good. They're going to have the single child syndrome. It's a thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on having kids in a first world country?
I mean, just with the thing you just said with the single child thing, it's gonna be a terrible. It could be a very terrible experience for the kid. Obviously, well, not obviously, but obviously, there are people that's gonna say, well, you know what, I'm the only kid, and I'm fine. Okay, that's cool. But we're talking about in general cases, people, people, it's good to have a brother or sister with you. Like, being alone in any situation is not fun. It's not good for a man to be alone. You know what I'm saying? And we know we're talking about that's referring to. Let's leave that there, but it's not good for people to be alone. We're meant to be relational, and
Mm-hmm.
when obviously your parents are gonna leave this earth, and it's gonna be you, and if it's only you here that
Yeah,
you
that
can lean
sucks.
on, it's gonna suck. It's gonna be a very painful thing when you need help. You gotta go to somebody that maybe you don't really know will be there for you. You know what I'm saying? So it's a tough thing. So the whole single kid thing, I feel for the people that are in that situation because of those reasons, and of course there are people that you can find that are good, but if you have brothers and sisters, you don't need to find those people. And then okay, people are gonna say, okay, what about if you don't get along with your brother and sister? You still have a brother and sister to resolve conflict with. You can get
Yeah.
people want to stay enemies when they have a problem. Like, what's wrong? I don't understand when people have a conflict that they don't run that they allow to rule them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying there aren't serious things that happen. Yes, we can get deeper into this, but what I'm saying is you have brothers and sisters to make up with, and that are blood family that you can hopefully lean on. You know what I'm saying? When you need help with something, they should be your first go-tos. If that's not the case for you, then of course there's issues there. But to get into the question, man, looking at the way that third world countries are built and the struggles that they have, it is very tough to say should they have multiple kids or not, because if they do have kids, then they're bringing them into a situation where it's going to be struggle, but at the same time the kids can help if they're healthy.
Oh no, I said first world.
Oh, first world.
Yeah, like the U.S. and stuff.
Oh, you did say first world. My bad.
Mm-hmm.
My bad. First world country.
Oh yeah, we already know third world. We know all about
yeah,
that.
third world is hard. First world. Okay, first world. Multiple kids in the first world. So is it good? Hold on. What's the question again? I want to make sure.
First of all, is it even worth it having kids in a first world country? And then secondly, is it profitable to have a bunch of them?
So it is profitable to have a bunch of them, I would say. But then the question is, what kind of kids are you having? But let's go to, is it good to have kids in a first world country? Yeah, I think it is. I think that's a given, because although we know we can't take anything with us when we die, or we can't keep our possessions beyond this world. It's gonna have to go somewhere. It's gonna be left here, and having kids is a way for you to build something, and then also build it to last for generations, right? So just with that idea alone, I would say it's good to have kids in general, to where you're not just working for yourself, you're working for something greater and something and for others, because when you look at the way that we're set up, right? We're here to glorify God, and we're relational human beings, right? So we have in us built in to be relational, to love others, to love something, to do for others. We're relational in that way. So that's in direct connection with I think why people work as hard as they do, because they're trying to be in a position, not everybody thinks like this, but I think it's a thing where when you have a family, you want to be in a position where you can give something when you leave, or leave something valuable when you leave. So I would say it's good to have kids in the first world country, because it's a great opportunity to be well established and to leave legacy, and to leave something for the next generation to either build off of, or to have to survive, or even to thrive. So you can go many different ways with that concept, thriving or surviving. But yeah, in that aspect it is. And having multiple kids, if you raise your kids well in a good nurturing household, they have a better chance of having a better life, because they know things that they shouldn't do. It is all depends on what they want to do with that information, but they have the information there, and they're in a great space where they can thrive, right, in a first world country. So I would say it's good, because then now they have each other to work with, and they can build on top of what is left behind. So I would say in that regard, it's good to have multiple kids, and um, it made me think about the family that isn't as fortunate, even though they're in a first world country. Is it good for them to have multiple kids? Let's leave that for a later discussion if you want to hit that. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Or do you have any questions?
Wait, what was the last part you just said that you want to hit later?
The discussion of what about the families that have multiple kids that aren't like financially equipped to handle all that, but they're still rocking, but it's like a little bit of a struggle.
Yeah, that's basically where this question is going, though. But we'll talk about that if we have the time here. So, is it worth it to even have kids in the country? First question. I think it's always worth it to have children. It's sad when people don't think about what happens to them when they reach old age. Or even, there are times in the life of a parent that, frankly speaking, they don't know some things. Sometimes your kids will teach you a thing or two about technology, about how the world is now. So parents don't always have a grip on where the world is going unless they do their own research, which we'll see how our generation does. But as far as our parents go, we can see that they're not always the most in touch. Your thing is on pause, by the way. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. So, is it worth it to have kids? Yeah, there are many tangible and intangible pros to having children. First off, having children, it gives you more responsibility, and we understand that as human beings, the more proper responsibilities that we have, or the more responsibilities that we have in general, the better off we are managing our time, managing our finances, managing where we spend our time, all of those things. It makes us focus better. So having kids, generally speaking, overall, is a great thing. I usually, when people don't want to have kids, it's because of two things. The first being trauma from their childhood, how their childhood went. They didn't like it. So they're going to put that on their kid and say, I don't want to put them through that, but it's not up to them. But it is up to them to have kids. You know what I'm saying? But if you do have a kid, it's not up to you to say that I don't want the kid to go through a bad time.
Okay.
Hey, why don't you travel to Africa and see how happy those kids are? They're fine. They're fine. Your concept of them having a good life is not reality for them. It's actually, that's why you're called a first world here, because your reality is different from someone who lives in a third world country.
Yeah. So point one is that they don't want them to go through the same traumas.
Yeah. Point two is they don't have the financial standing to have kids, which you mentioned that we'll talk about that in a little bit. Is it worth it? Second question. Is it worth it to have a whole bunch of kids?
Hold on.
I would say,
sorry. Real quick before you say going to there, I think another point is people don't want to have kids because of selfish reasons, because they don't want to have responsibilities.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think I would add a point 3 about being selfish. Like they don't want it because they don't want to do the work. They don't want to. They're just selfish in that way.
I think that's actually a movement that's going on right now. Is people are blatantly coming out and saying, yes, I am selfish. I don't care. I don't want kids.
It's crazy.
People are literally coming out and taking that. And it's like, okay, cool. That's absolutely fine. But is this a virtue or a vice, right? Is this a characteristic that you want to have for yourself? Do you want to embody that selfishness? Because frankly speaking, coming from a biblical perspective, coming from a God created the world perspective, we're meant to procreate. Two things on that. if you have two people who are psychopathic murderers and they come together and make babies, right? We know we would most likely not want them to procreate. That's just my opinion.
Ooh,
Okay, before we get into all of that, we're just two guys having a conversation. Okay,
Oh man.
we are not professionals. We are not psychologists. You know what I'm saying? We are just having a conversation, and you guys are just in on our opinions. That's all it is.
Yes.
It's an opinion. So if you find gems in here, take it. If you don't, stick around and have some fun.
Yes,
Go
and
ahead.
one note here is that whatever D says, D stands alone, and whatever I say, we've talked about off the podcast. So,
Yeah. What are you gonna say though about the two murderers thing?
bro, like, do you think that the two murderers, if they have a kid, do you think that kid is more subjected to being a murderer as well?
They're more subjected to being crazy. I don't know about murderer.
Hey man,
You know.
two murderers birth a murderer. I don't know if they're gonna birth an angel.
Yeah, right.
You know?
That's the world though. That's how crazy the world is. It's
Yeah.
two normal people can birth a murderer.
Exactly. Bro, we have seen many stories. And I know I was joking about the two murderers birthing an angel, but that's possible. That's possible.
It is possible.
It can happen because, you know, but I find it very interesting of the different combinations we see with types of parents and then what type of kid they have. And, you know, it really baffles me in some situations. Like, some situations are, like, unexplainable, at least to the physical realm. You know, the physical way things happen here. You can't explain it, you know, but if you look in the spiritual side, you'll be able to see everything. And it'll make it'll be more clear. But since we don't see it as clear in the spiritual side, seeing what happens right now here on earth, it's like, I don't know how this happened. I don't know what exactly happened, but I may have some notes on why it's happening, because we know spiritual things affect, you know, the physical world. So we know that something is happening that we can't see, and it's unexplainable. It's not tangible of what we can
It's not.
you know, grab.
It's really not.
Yeah.
I have a perfect story for that, and it fits to my next point. I was listening to a story on this guy that kidnapped this little girl and was planning on killing her. This is exactly the story. He was sitting in his car, and there was a bus dropping off a kid or picking up kids. And he said he saw, and this is the thing, people don't understand that the world is a spiritual place. Like, there are things and possession at work. People think when you're possessed by a demon, you are this crazy person that, you know, just when you see a person who's possessed, you know exactly that they're possessed. I don't think it works like that. This guy said he was sitting there in his car behind this bus, and he saw a girl getting picked up at the bus stop, and he looked at the girl and he said, "I'm gonna kill her." And from that point on, he was a normal guy apparently, right? And he said, "Oh, I'm gonna kill her. That's my target." And for some time, he monitored them, and
Lord.
I think he went into her house, killed the parents,
Dang.
and took the girl. And I'm like, why do y'all think that demonic possession? You imagine you just a normal person, and all of a sudden you have a strong desire to murder someone. That's not normal.
That's not a normal thing, man.
It's not. And that falls to my next point, is people are scared to have children because they're afraid of how they're going to raise them. They're afraid of how the kids are going to turn out.
Yeah. And I got an interesting point that I heard. There's a question that John MacArthur was answering about, you know, like should people be scared to have kids in today's age? And I even thought about this personally, and I'm like, bro, I'm really scared for my kids because of all these demonic things. But when I thought about it, the world has been demonic the whole time. You know, there's been weird things going on from since the days of Canaan. So it hasn't changed necessarily by having evil on earth. It's just going to be here. They're going to experience all kinds of different types of things. But what John MacArthur said that made me have a different perspective was that he's like, it's a great time for them to come here because why? More people to share the gospel, more people to share the gospel, like, because if they're raised in a Christian household, they're going to be taught those things and have greater chance of having more people here to share the gospel. And not only that, but to I just forgot it, crap, but to because this is their time, and we forget there's a time for everything, and them being in this time, God will equip them to handle whatever they need to handle in their time. And that's one thing that I didn't think about. Like, God equips us with what we need and how we need to adapt in our lifetime. Back in the day, they were equipped to handle those type of conditions. We are equipped to handle these type of conditions. If we go back in the day right now, try to handle what they handled, we will die. And if they come here, try to handle what we handled, they'll probably die. Because we have a lot of chemicals, radiation, stuff like that their body's not used to. Opposite, our body's not used to the physical things that they're used to. Walking miles, you know what I'm saying? So it made more sense. I'm like, wow, I shouldn't be afraid because, God will give them what they need to walk their time on earth, and so it made me more relaxed. Like, oh, okay, oh yeah, they can. I shouldn't be as nervous or as crazy.
The generation before us actually didn't have much faith in us. You and I, our generation. The generation before us, I think the boomers or something, they were like, our specific generation is horrible. The music that we were listening to. Yeah. The twerking culture was not rising.
Oh, man, we should call it popping. Pop. Hey, what? Hey.
Yeah, we saw that. We gonna oh shoot, you're editing this one. Make sure to expand that video whenever you're doing it. Alrighty?
Cutting all that out.
Alrighty. But yeah, that us girls dressing crazy, guys looking sketchy. That started with our generation in a way, and it's like they didn't have hope for us. But look at us today. Mm-hmm. We have the good, solid, well-grounded people in our generation who are helping things kind of level out. And you're right, God does, but you see the generation after you and I, we're like, dang, they're not gonna make it.
Yeah, so I could see we see the down spiral. Like everybody says that to the next one because like we see things getting crazier and crazier, but they're gonna come equipped to some capacity to manage what they're getting into. Yeah. So yeah, thinking about it is like, man, they're gonna have it bad, but when they get here, they're gonna have their ways of adapting.
Most of them are gonna come equipped, but then some people are gonna come very well equipped to help lead the rest of the people, because in every generation there's some kind of leader helping guide a mass amount of people through stuff. Every generation has its solid Christian preacher or teacher that helps guide and lead people in that time in theology and stuff like that. So it's awesome to see God work, and I think it's worth it to have a bunch of kids because we're not, see, that's the thing. People are like, oh, society decides, the good and bads of how things are. And it's like, you don't want that because we have some crazy people in this society. We kind of want God to dictate and lead how things are, and he does regardless of whether or not we like it. So I'm thankful for that. Yeah. But yeah, there's a strong fear in some people of having kids because they're afraid the kids are going to be crazy. They're afraid they won't know how to raise kids, and who knows how to raise kids exactly? Even the people that know how to raise kids, they're the ones studying kids. They're not raising a bunch of kids. They're studying how to raise them properly, and they give you the tools to raise your kids. So there's a difference between someone who is in the front lines of the war and there's someone who is in the back, who's in command to kind of oversee things. And people kind of want to be both in command and in the front lines of the war, and you can't do that. You have to be here, and this person helps you, and you help this person. It goes back and forth. So I think people are equipped to raise kids. It's just fear, and I think a little bit of selfishness too. But lastly, it might be worth it to have a bunch of kids in this day and time, because you as a person, and I'm not saying good as in like righteous, pure, all-knowing kind of thing. But if you are a decent, good, moral standing person, if you know you're left from right, if you know good from bad, if you know it's not good to murder, and you know it's good to serve and help others, maybe you should have kids. Because when you teach them those virtues, guess what they do? You send them out into the world. And that's what legacy is built on. You teach your kids, and then your kids will have kids, and then your kids will have kids. And all of a sudden, you have a huge family or a whole bunch of people going out into the world with good moral understanding, who are decent people, willing to serve and help their communities. And that's a great thing.
Yeah. I mean, look at those families that have like a line of pastor sons. You know what I mean? You know,
it's pretty cool.
That happens for a reason. You know.
Yep.
Hopefully it's not forced, but that happens for a reason. Any last thoughts on this topic?
I'm good, man. That was my last point.
Man, hey, drop your thoughts in the comments if you have anything to say about this. We're gonna move on to the next topic. So, man, what I was thinking about, man, you know, switching gears here on a lighter subject, or maybe not. you don't know. So expectations from ladies are known. You know, if you don't know,
now you know.
You're about to find out, or after this, now you know. They expect us to be protectors, you know, providers, right? Those I think are the two emphasized ones in social media and online.
Right.
Providers and protectors provide, you know, resources, you know, AKA buy food.
That's crazy. I just communicated to you telepathically, because in my mind I was like, say resources, and then you said
hey man, holy duo.
That's crazy.
Holy duo connection. Crazy. Resources such as food and cars and housing, and then protection such as you got to be built a certain way, you got to be able to protect them, right? That's what they expect. That's their natural inclination on what they want to find. They don't want to be with a guy that don't think they could protect them and provide, right? So kind of slipping that in, what does it mean when a woman says he's supposed to be a man when it comes to showing actions? Because we hear like when ladies talk about man, I forgot what it was, but basically some lady was asked a question, and I guess to like ask a question about a guy, like, you know, it was some particular scenario the guy made to the woman, and she, in her response, she had said, well, he's supposed to be the man, or he's supposed to be a man. So let's say, like, in a scenario of like going out to eat, you know, and let's say the guy asked the lady, okay, so who's gonna be paying for the meal? And she responds, well, he's supposed to be the man. What do you think they mean when they use that line? Oh, he's supposed to be the man, because we see a lot of mixed things here. You know, we see the women that's like, you know, I can take care of myself, buy my own food, boom, boom. And then, you know, because in the opposite factor, when we say ladies are supposed to be women, or we don't even say that, but when we know a lady's supposed to be a lady, I don't want to get confusing here, but let's stay on, what do you think they mean when they say he's supposed to be the man when it comes to showing actions?
Oh, wow. You sure we want to have a topic after this one? Because this is heavy.
Hey, man, let's see.
All right. So when they say that, I think for one, they want security. They want the man to act in a certain way that makes them feel safe and that makes them feel taken care of. There could be some problems with that depending on the kind of woman who's saying it. Secondly, if the woman is saying that to a man, two things. He either needs to check himself to see if he's coming from a strong mindset of authentic manhood or authentic masculinity, or that lady has got some issues she needs to figure out. Because how can you tell him to be a man? Can he tell you to be a woman about something? No.
Yeah, it's like sorry, I because like when and a scenario popped in my head. It's like when you, let's say you both are scared of a rat, but then y'all just don't want to go near wherever it's supposed to be, and she's like, oh, why don't you be a man and kill the rat? Like it's now used divisively. That's where I think that's where I was trying to get to. Like they use it divisively as an insult or a thing that challenges your manhood, right?
Yeah, to try to push you.
To try to push you. Oh, you're the man, or like, but then the opposite of that is like we don't have something to say to them because when we when we want to say something back, it's just chaos. Is what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
So continue what you're saying because I think we're on track here.
Okay. So, and to your point exactly. So, with that being said, when they say be a man, you can't necessarily say, well, be a woman.
You can't.
Because in our minds, what does being a woman mean? What is the traditional sense of being a woman? Are we even allowed to say it today?
Bro, I can't wait to watch that one documentary, What is a Woman? Bro, he got some really good stuff.
Goodness.
Have you seen that?
I've seen commercials.
Bro, I think that dude is solid. And I wonder, I don't think he is, but he may be. I don't know. But
I don't know.
But do you think he's a Christian? You think he believes in God?
I get the sense he is, but I don't know.
I don't know, because the reason why I say I don't know, because a lot of people like him, knowledge puffers up. The Bible said knowledge puffers up.
Mm-hmm.
And so he might be one of those guys that think they're smarter, that they don't need God. You know what I mean? But I don't know that for sure. So I'm just wondering based on what I see.
Right. Me too. Me too. Yeah, I've seen some of his videos, and I was like, his value system is a little bit biblical.
Yeah, he's pretty solid when it comes to, panning things out the right way.
But what's crazy? Whenever you hear someone talk about the value system, they talk about the nuclear family, they talk about political points and things like that. You begin to think like, wait, are you a Christian? But they might not be. It's just crazy to understand that someone's value system could point them in a biblical direction, but they may not take the biblical aspect of it and incorporate it. But that's just my thought.
Yeah.
So, my point in saying that you can't say that they should be a woman about stuff is, how can they tell you to be a man? Are you already not a man?
Yeah.
And if they're telling you to be a man, that means on command, they think they can tell you when to trigger the man inside of you.
Exactly.
So doesn't that...
Why you hesitate? You say, shh, you sound like a snake. Shh, shh.
Yeah. It may go with my next point. Okay. So doesn't that facilitate manipulation?
Bro, and that's the thing. That is what exactly. They use it as a device to where they press it to try to make you move how they want you to move. Like, be a man. And then it's like a thing where it's a big wall or a shield, because now that they have said that, if you don't do whatever they think you should do, you're not being a man.
You're not. Right. And it becomes a trigger point for them. They start to not like you, or they have this disdain for you, like, ugh, like you didn't take care of the situation the way that I thought you should have.
Exactly. But and then you have those ladies that, that want to do things that men do. And then they want to use the phrase as well. Like, but what do you mean? Like, you're trying to take my role. Like, what do you mean be a man when I'm trying to do the things that I need to do as a man, but you're trying to do those things?
And have you heard the women that say, I'm more of a man than you
Exactly, because they're what? Doing the things that...
How?
Bro.
How? How? Wait, well, so what can a man do to be more of a woman than a woman?
Bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like, no, think about it. If women can just do stuff and say, I'm more of a man than you because I'm tough, how can a man be more of a woman than a woman?
Bro.
Because if you say cry,
that's a human thing.
Can't men cry?
That's a human thing.
That's a human thing.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about?
What is happening, bro?
This conversation is kind of like, what is going on?
And now you know what that made me think about? It made me think about the whole. Now here's where when you say something about these, the community, it gets all of a sudden the Matrix start coming in. It made me start thinking about the trans thing, like, the guy. What is a woman? Like.
Yeah.
Because they have all these different things they want to add in feelings and what you feel. It's confusing what they're even trying to even say. It's nothing tangible. It's no defined line. It's all squiveled. How you wanted to squivel.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why I think like on our side it's like we can't do the woman thing, because it's like they want to take some of our parts because the equality thing, and I don't understand. Like, lines have been merged and and things have been combined now. So like we can't think clear no more, bro.
But you know what? It's interesting because that's cool. That's fine. Because what it does is it makes us better understand where we come from. When you just grow up in a Christian home, you just grow up with standards. You don't really think about it that deep. And then all of a sudden, someone who isn't a Christian asks you a question. All of a sudden, you don't even know how to answer.
Yeah, they ask you a question in a way that makes you think differently.
Right.
Yeah.
So in this society that we're in, that's fine. It's fine. People are going crazy because maybe our parents didn't do a good job of helping us understand and give us strong definitions for stuff.
That's an interesting angle you just came from, because the whole thing with what's going on in the world starts from the home. So that's an interesting way, angle, because I think that's a strong angle of understanding a lot of things that you need to know, Right. And then
yeah.
Yes, that is a good point, because now as we see it, just so much confusion. Of what people are identifying as. It's just like the question, like the guy said from the documentary. He's like, now he's questioning what is a human. Because, bro, there are people that are identifying as wolves, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So,
oh man,
bro. So, what is going on, bro?
So wait, so if you have a girlfriend who identifies as a dog or cat or wolf, and y'all have intimacy together, are you having intimacy with an animal?
Yeah, now you're participating in now you're beast. Now you're doing bestiality.
Oh Lord!
Right, technically.
Yeah, technically, if they want to go that way with it. Oh wow!
So yeah, we're going to it's getting dark.
Yeah, all of this from just be a man. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so the lines are being merged and confused and swiveled, bro. You don't know what is happening now. But to get back to the point, man, they use that line, be a man, divisively. I think a lot of times to get what they want, essentially. Mm-hmm. I think that's why it's used. And that's why that line exists. Like, be a man. Like do what I want you to do.
Yeah. So my first point was security. They want to feel safe and protected and provided for. My second point is for a lady to say that to a man, that's kind of idolizing the man. You know what I'm saying? If men can't say women should dress and look this particular way because that's just not right for a man to say, then how can a woman also say that we should be a man? Because then now you're setting this standard that, frankly speaking, men may not be up to that standard because that standard may be in your head, which brings me to my third point. Where are they getting these standards of be a man from? Because when men make statements like, well, women generally are nurturers, they fight back. They say that's not true. Women, the bodies of women are generally regarded in the sense that if she dresses this way, we see her this way. And if she dresses this way, we see her this way. And they fight back. They say just because she dresses this way doesn't mean that she is this.
Yeah.
So, if everyone has their own little standard of how to be a woman, you know, some women have this idea of I can look more muscular than a man and still be a woman, still be feminine. Okay, cool. We can all have our different little standards. But then how can you also have the idea that he's not a man? Says who? Right? So I think everyone is just in their head about this stuff.
Bro, is all kind of madness going on, man. It's like
it's all kind of madness.
Yeah, it is. And even right now, like just thinking about it, I don't know where to go with it because there's so many different things that's been put into it that you don't know, like what, like because now it's mixed with other ideas that might not have something to do with it directly, because you know the feelings are involved, and so it just get really confused and really watered with other chemicals, so to speak, and you don't know what kind of product you have no more. The discussion is the product, and what are we even talking about now?
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
So, I mean, when they say, "Oh, just be a man," and we wanna, let me take it back, because like we stated earlier before, they want to use it when it's convenient for them, right? For us to take charge, as you said, protect, right? You know, be a man and, you know, blah blah blah. Talk to your mom, because she's, you know, blah blah blah. Or be a man and go outside and see what's out there. You know, I'm scared. Or, you know, be a man and pay the bill. Like, why do you think, other than protection and even manipulation, would they even start to say that? Is it because they want us to do action? Or, I don't even know what I'm asking. I think
I know exactly what you're asking.
Okay.
Think about it this way. If you're babysitting a child and you're telling them to do something, but they won't do it, they keep being disobedient, what do you resort to? You resort to beating. You resort to, you know, disciplining them physically.
Okay.
Not beating them up, but physically disciplining them.
Yeah.
Because they don't hear. The words aren't making sense. For example, when you're training a dog and it keeps running all over the place and you're like, come here, sit, heel, and it doesn't listen, what do? You put a muzzle on the dog and you put a leash on the dog and you physically direct the dog. That's how you train a dog. That's how you train a child. Not the muzzle and the leash. So if it comes to a situation, just trying to make that clear.
Hey, nah, I saw him.
Just got to make that clear.
Oh,
so
shoot.
If you're in a situation with a man and he's not doing what you want, you got to put the muzzle and leash on him. How do you do that? by trying to be in control, by telling him be a man. So it's about control. It's about I need to control you in this moment because you're not doing what I want you to do.
And they're gonna try to control you emotionally. Cause they can't do it physically. Emotionally with the words that's a good point. Hey guys, I hope y'all pick that up because, bro, that is something that is. And then when they say it, you feel it.
Yeah, it hits you.
It hits you. It's no way you don't feel it. It's like they really poked you in that spot where the key needed to go in, and you're like,
they know exactly where to do it.
Freak.
Yeah.
They got me.
And now you're at a road divided into two. Do I be a man, which I may not know what it is because she's telling me to be a man, and I already am not a man, or do I fight back? And usually men will fight back.
What's the rebuttal in that situation? You know, what? Look. Okay, let's say the scenario is, you guys, there's a dog in the house that's turning on y'all. She's like,
yeah,
be a man and go in there and calm the dog down. What's your rebuttal? I'm scared.
Hey man, chill out.
Cause
you don't say that.
Bro, cause they want us to be honest and open up and vulnerable. So how about that? How about that, dog? Yeah. I'm scared. The dog gonna bite my arm.
Exactly. That's being a man.
Yeah.
Because they told us
being a man is telling the truth. Hey, you got the truth. I'm being a man. I'm telling you the truth to your face. That dog is massive.
And you want me to cry? I'm gonna cry about it right now.
You want tears too? You want tears too? I'll give you tears, bro. All right.
This is absolutely absurd.
I'm gonna give you what you want, but don't get mad when you get it. You know. Yeah, bro.
Hey, but that's a great point, man. Cause guess what? After you've been a man about the situation, you got to go back to what she wants you to be. You can't stay being a man.
Yeah. You can't be that type of man. You only see, and that's
not all the time.
That's only when it's convenient for them. Is when they use it,
right?
And that's what it takes back to my point a couple of podcasts ago, where like they use the equality thing only when it's convenient for them. They don't want to go to war, they don't want to do the physical labor, but they want the equality of a man. And if you want to be equal to a man, does that mean physically equal? Oh no, I don't mean that. They pick and choose. So that goes back to that. But anyway, in this situation, they want it when it's convenient, and they use it divisively. Exactly. And I think it's a great point that you use with the disciplining part, because it hits you like that.
It does.
It hits you like that.
It does. Can you imagine telling a woman when she's pregnant and going through the pains, hey, be a woman? Nah, that's messed up, man. You can't say that.
See, and that's why.
Because what does that mean?
And that's why we don't got like a good rebuttal to that, except for the truth, All right.
Exactly. I had a last point to make, but I think I forgot about it already. Crap. But bro, I mean, dang, we hit this really good. I never thought that deep into it until we talked about it.
Yeah, man.
And just to remind you guys, we're just two guys having a conversation. This is just our opinion. I gotta say it because some people are gonna get upset that we have some perspectives.
Yep. Hey.
And at the end of the day, we don't want to be confused out here, man. Yeah. We want things to be solid and stable for people to build around. So,
exactly.
Yeah, man. That was a great topic. We could go further into it.
I don't know. We could.
I don't know if we have that much time.
Run out of time. But hey, man, guys, if you have any thoughts, man, drop it down below, man. Let's hear what you guys think, because, hey, we don't know everything, and we're not gonna touch on all the intricate specific exceptions. We're talking we're talking mainly in general, and we do come up with certain scenarios to kind of nitpick. But if you have anything specific you want to point out, hey, we want to listen, we want to hear what you have, and interact with us. Now moving on to the interactive portion of the podcast. If you've been with us for a while, you know what it is. If you're new, we have many different topical segments. This one we have for the week is WWYD. What would you do? And this is scenarios where we pick and we just pretty much ask, what would you do? D, I believe, wrote this one. So
This is perfect because it fits right into the conversation we have. So the conversation or the segment today is, what would you do if you're having a disagreement with your wife at your parents' house,
oh,
at you, the man's parents' house, or if you're a lady listening to this, if you're having an argument at your parents' house and your husband yells at you. In this case, the wife is yelling at you as a man, and she says, "You need to stop talking to me like that. Um, you need to be a man and take control of this situation, and you're just not. You're just being a wimp about it, and I don't respect you."
ouch. That's
In front of your
in front of.
parents.
First of all, that's like disrespecting my parents already. You know,
Hey,
I think that is, um, and definitely communication issues are present as we have now discovered. You know what I mean? So in that situation, what will I do?
what would you do, man?
Man,
What would you do?
I would, bro. We have to. That's a hard situation, man. Cause the scenario, guys, right? We're launched into the scenario, so it's not us as we would like live up and build our relations.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
situation we're being tossed into, so it's no
Right, right.
it's no conformity. We're just
Look at him
hey man, we
trying
just
to.
dropped in the box,
Listen,
man. All we doing is they just dropping us in the box and we there. So
look at this. Look at this.
since we're here, bro, we gotta take it outside. We have to take it outside. We have to.
What?
No, not with the hands. Nah. We ain't talking about a $150. We ain't talking about a fade. We ain't talking about none of that. We're not gonna scratch with our ladies out here. But when we're talking about, we had a discussion, a nice polite discussion, outside, outdoors, and
Polite.
we're gonna have a rough discussion. Nah, we're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna have to take it outside to where or take it to a separate location, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna have to take it to a separate location where we can discuss individually, because we have some communication issues that shouldn't be, our problems shouldn't be spread it out at random times of the, interaction with other people. We should be able to control ourselves and have signals and so on and so forth to give ourselves the understanding. Okay, I'm not liking what you're doing. We should be able to communicate and have a communication line in tough situations where there are people at to where we're gonna be like, okay, let's kind of back or let's regroup. So I would in that particular situation, we would have to step aside and have individual or isolated conversation with no interruptions, because that's embarrassing and it's disrespectful to the parents, to do that in front of them.
Absolutely.
It's not right for you to talk to their son like that in front of them. You know what I mean? So if the
Yeah.
man was to do that in front of
Or their daughter.
or their daughter, if I was to do that in front of, that would be spitting in the parents' face as well.
Yeah.
So that's how I see it, and that's kind of what I would do in that situation.
What would the consequences of her actions be? Because we get it, you'll talk to her, but then how do you resolve the situation with the parents? Because now they're offended too.
Oh, my parents,
Yeah.
man, I don't know, man. Off the top of my head, I don't know. I mean, shoot, that's an interesting one
Yeah, because
because
you can
because the parents are gonna say something about it. Oh, why she talk?
Oh, yeah.
Why she talking to you like that? What's going on? They're gonna now it's gonna be like, oh, there's problems. Well, there may not be a definite problem per se, like a discussion problem. It might be just like a bad communication problem. You know what I mean? Like we haven't handled disagreements well, or whatever it is, and like there's a buildup of some sort, but there might not be like a, oh, I said this and now I'm reacting. You know what I mean? It might be a build-up problem. So they're gonna think there's a problem, which there is of some sort. But I guess the best thing to do is explain what you want to give that isn't gonna be giving them too much information about what you guys are doing personally, but maybe like, okay, we would have like a generic statement on what's the situation is, so that they won't get too connected and then start saying other things because they're biased. They're gonna be biased. You know what I mean? So give them something generic that they can understand, that won't feed into specific things. Like hey, we just had like a bad weekend and blah blah blah, or just something that isn't too specific. I think would at least give them something so that they can understand. I might be wrong here, but that's what I'm thinking on top of my head.
So you're thinking to just talk to the wife, obviously, or the wife talks to you, and then talk to the parents?
Well, yeah, you had asked me, what about the parents? Yeah, that's what I do. Talk to the parents.
You just talk to them.
Yeah.
With the wife present or not?
Firstly, without the wife present, and now that I think about it, I might have to talk to my wife about apologizing to my parents about that.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so you would talk to the parents with her present.
Yeah, like we have to do an apology.
Okay. We or her?
Well, we.
Oh, both of y'all?
No, I'm not apologizing, but I'll be there when she apologizes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get a solid idea.
Yeah.
For me, if she did that in front of my mom, first I would pull her to the side like you would. Secondly, I would question her values, as in, what is the intention behind doing that? I would question her values, make sure that she still believes what she believes. If she still doesn't believe what she believes, I still need to know that. You know what I mean? Has your mind changed on certain things? How you talk to the leader, you know what I'm saying? How you talk to your head, how you talk to someone who is in charge of protecting and providing for the family, like that kind of stuff. How has your idea of that changed? And then secondly, I would ask for her to apologize to my parent. And then that would be it.
Okay.
I think that solves the issue.
Okay.
To be honest.
D gave y'all the the book answer, over there. You know what I'm saying?
The book answer. You think so?
No. It was just well organized on how you said it.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
Well, because you already talked about it, so I was able to kind of.
Yeah, I know you had all the doggone time to come up with the organized. I had the trash version. Doggone it, man.
Welcome to the Holy Duo.
Nah, man. We gonna set you up next podcast, man. We setting you up next podcast.
Hey,
next
man.
podcast, we're gonna make you look like an animal. Oh, man. Hey, man, if you enjoyed it, man, give us a like, man. This is the end of the podcast 17. We definitely enjoyed the discussion. Bro, we definitely enjoyed the conversation here, man. Drop it down below. Interact with us. If you're listening on an audio platform, make sure you give us 5 stars, man. Share this content, rate us, do all that good stuff, man. We're excited. If you want us to have a topic of discussion, drop it in the comments wherever you can. Send us an email, holyduo2020@gmail.com. Links below to all the social medias and everything that you need to know. So definitely interact with us, man. We're waiting.
Yup.
Any last words?
Hey, you said it, man. Nah, you said it all.
Hey, man. With that being said, it's EddyEd.
It's Dialogue, folks.
And we're only holy
because he is. And remember, faith don't come expensive.
It's free.
It's free. Peace.
Yaga.